For my American history project, I decided to choose artist Jackson Pollock, who is a major figure in the abstract expressionists. After reviewing various artworks established by Pollock, the Blue Poles seemed to interest me the most. The Blue Poles painting, otherwise known as November 11, 1952, is an abstract expressionist painting in one of the famous works by American artist Jackson Pollock. Later on in 1973, this painting was brought by the National Gallery of Australia. It was sold to them for $1.3 million, which was approved by the Prime Minister. For Austrians, the purchase of this painting will range from $20 million to $100 million. This painting features embedded shards of glass, footprints, enamel, and aluminum paint poured and dropped onto the canvas. However, it was stated by analysts that in the painting, the blue lines unify all separate sections. Pollock also believed that people should appreciate a picture for what it is, a pure painting. He felt as if giving an artwork a name or a title attached a personality or characterization to the artwork, where which numbers are neutral, which is why he put numbers on majority of his artworks instead of names. During this certain point of time, Pollock tended to drink a lot, and many believe that the painting was made from a spontaneous outburst of drunken rage. This painting, being that it is abstract, gives it a unique appearance which separates itself from other works. The creating by Pollock's artwork is exciting because he is actually in the painting, not only physically but emotionally as well. Usually, in painting, people traditionally compose with one shape according with another, but Pollock did the totally opposite. Pollock composed different lines with other lines and used juxtaposition in this painting, which is when two things being seen or placed close together with contrasting effects. Although painting lines may describe something, like landscape painting lines describe trees, it could describe a cloud, or it could describe etc., etc. In this painting, these lines aren't describing anything. Later artists were deeply influenced on the style of expressionist painting, not only painters but performance artists as well. Pollock went through an extremely emotional life and tends to express it in all of his abstract paintings. A quote I chose for this painting by Pollock is, "The painting has life of its own. I try to let it come through." I feel like Pollock is trying to say that this painting expresses his life for itself, but he has to open up and let life in.
This 12 by 18 foot art piece is oil on canvas by the famous artist John Trumbull. John Trumbull was an American artist during the American Revolutionary War and known for his historical paintings. He has been called the painter of the Revolution. This piece portrays a demonstration of the draft of the Declaration of Independence to Congress, a painting that exists in two versions, the smaller version being located at the University of Yale's Art Gallery, while the second monumental version was placed in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda in 1826. It is usually incorrectly described as the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but it is certainly not. Shows the five men presenting their draft of their declaration to Congress on June 28, 1776, and was not the signing of the original document. The painting shows 42 of the 56 signers of the Declaration. Trumbull was only able to get 42 because he was not able to obtain likeness on every individual due to everyone's differences. There was 14 unpainted signers: Matthew Thornton, John Hart, John Morgan, James Smith, George Taylor, George Ross, Caesar Rodney, Thomas Stone, Thomas Nelson Jr., Francis Lightfoot Lee, Carter Braxton, John Penn, Budden Gwinnett, and Lyman Hall. He was not able to create the painting of Benjamin Harrison, so he had Benjamin Harrison's son instead, so he could draw him out in his absence. He also added participants who had declined to sign the document, including John Dixon, who had rejected to sign. The men featured in the painting were never actually in the same room at the same time. Trumbull did do his best job to make it look as they were actually all together, which is extremely creative and is something that takes a lot of skill. In this painting, it shows our third U.S. president, Thomas Jefferson, stepping on our second U.S. president, John Adams' foot, which many would say explains the relationship as political enemies due to their different sides. In Paris, Trumbull began to draw out the scenario based off President Jefferson's memory of how everything had occurred. The Assembly Room in the Pennsylvania State House in Philadelphia, where the Declaration of Independence was first presented to Congress and subsequently signed.